Hello everyone, welcome to this tutorial for my angelic and peaceful arrangement of the hymn Blessed Assurance. In this tutorial, I'm going to go over a couple potential trouble spots, offer some techniques for how to overcome them, and then share some insight into my thinking behind the way that I arranged it, maybe even get a little nerdy on you into some music theory. So first off, what might strike you as you look at the sheet music is that it's in 12/8 meter. Now, if you're not used to playing in 12/8 or you've never seen it before, it simply is 4/4 with a triplet feel. So it's 12 beats divided by 4, means that essentially each quarter note is getting 3 divisions rather than your typical 2 divisions that you'd have with eighth notes. So instead of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and you have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, like that. So don't let it throw you off if you're not used to it. Just think of it as 4/4, and instead of writing it in 4/4 and then manually putting in all the triplet notes, notating those, it's actually cleaner to do it this way and a little bit easier to read. Actually, in my opinion, it's a lot easier to read. So don't let it throw you off. The second thing that I wanted to point out is that the arrangement is driven by these quarter note or dotted quarter note pulses, chord pulses. So, and if you're not a jazz player or if you don't have experience playing jazz, some of these chords and how tight they can be with your fingers might, be unusual or unnatural for you. Typically, if you're classically trained and you've played a lot of sacred music, you're used to more arpeggiated chords. And so some of these tightly voiced, blocked chords might just be new for you. And there on measure 8, I'll just show you, we go from an E minor 7 to an A7 second version to a looking at D9 suspended in second version, I believe it is. And then D7, and then the drop the bass. And those are pretty tight chords. So my suggestion, if that feels unnatural to you and uncomfortable, or you're having trouble reading it quickly, is to first of all keep your eyes ahead of where you're playing. So if you're currently on beat 1, keep your eyes, say, on what feels like beat 3. So if you're on beat 3, then you're keeping your eyes on the downbeat of the next. You're always like 1 or 2 steps ahead. And then just physically, one technique that I would offer to you is, as soon as you play your chord and you've given it its full, you don't want it to turn into staccato. But as soon as you played the chord as quickly as you can, and it helps that we're pressing the pedal so you're not going to lose sound, is get your fingers off that chord and moving into the shape of the following chord as quickly as possible, so that when that beat arrives and you need to play that new chord, your hand is already in position and you're not sitting there frantically at the last second having to read what that chord is and move your hand into a new position and all of that at the same time. You've been building up to it. So let me try to demonstrate in slow motion here. If I start at that same measure 8, I have 2 E minor 7s. As soon as I play the second one, I'm gonna play it, get off as quickly as I can without it sounding staccato, move my hand into the shape of the next chord so that when the time comes to play it, my hands are already in position. I just have to press down. Then the chord after that, I get off, move into position. So let me do it at full speed. I mean, some of those movements are so subtle, I don't know if you could see that through the camera, but hopefully I made the concept clear enough. Okay, the only other thing that I wanted to draw your attention to is the second verse that begins in the pickup to measure 27. The melody moves to your left hand. And as I will always say, you want to make sure that you bring the melody out. because the melody, if it sits on top, if it's the highest note that you're playing and you're playing with your pinky and your ring finger, it naturally stands out. Our ears naturally hear the highest note as the melody. So while you always want to bring the melody out, it kind of naturally does when it's on top. But when it's in the middle, like it is here, you have to really work to bring it out. And the way to do that is a combination of playing your right hand quieter and the melody notes in your left hand louder. Not rocket science, right? So you get the idea. I just wanted to draw your attention to make sure that you put the effort into making sure that melody stands out. The best way, if you're struggling with it, that I can suggest is to start hands separately. Work out your fingering. You'll notice that some of these notes, so you play the melody, but then there's a note below it, like that your pinky's sitting on, that you don't release. So my pinky stays down. So that might, in order to perform that might require you thinking through your fingering that you're going to use there. I do a little crossing over of my second finger over my thumb. And you see a little... Anyway, figure that out, whatever works best for you. If you're still struggling, I always suggest just taking it slow and then using a metronome and just incrementally building up the tempo until you get to the performance speed. Okay, the only other thing is no more treble spots. I just wanted to share that the reason I set this hymn in a kind of angelic, almost celestial, peaceful kind of setting is just the idea of blessed assurance. It's a very sweet concept, very precious one. And as I sat down at my piano to arrange the song, I said, okay, blessed assurance. I started with what the song is about. And I thought, okay, that's a very precious idea, and a very sweet one. How can I package it in a way that communicates that makes it feel, that makes the melody and all of our associations with this hymn feel like it's precious. And so for me anyway, it immediately brought to mind angelic sounds. And as a composer, one of the tools in my toolbox, this is where I get nerdy, that I draw on if I want to get an angelic sound is what's called the Lydian mode. Most of our songs are either in major or minor keys, but there are other kinds of keys, and we call them modes. And it's when you take, say in C major, you make the F and F sharp. Now this song, I don't change the key. It's not in a Lydian mode. It's in G major. There's no accidentals anywhere. I mean, there's some in the dominant sevenths of your left hand, but I'm not modulating anywhere. I'm not consistently making all the fourth scale degrees sharp or anything like that. But I'm starting the song on a C chord, which is not the root chord. This song is in G major. I'm not starting on a G chord. I'm starting on a C chord. And then I move up to a D major chord, but while keeping the bass a C, and it gives the impression of Lydian mode. It's the same idea as the Little Mermaid song. Look at this done, isn't it neat? Wouldn't you say my collection's complete? Has that same progression. So anyway, for those of you who enjoy music theory, that's what I did. That's why I did it. And I hope I hope it means something to you. I hope it communicates the preciousness of this truth, of the lyrics of this song, and I hope that as you perform it for people, it comes across in the same way, and that it helps them meditate on these ideas and these lyrics and all the memories that they have with this hymn. So thank you for watching. I hope it was helpful, and I will see you in the next tutorial.